Welcome back to Running the Riffs coverage of the North American Challenger League Spring Open Qualifier number 2. We've got a great game lined up for you in the 1-0 bracket as Ole Miss is going to be taking on Phoenix 5. Yanni and Rare Adam still giving you all the action. Adam, we saw a really largely clean game out of Ole Miss. Yes, their composition was missing a couple of things, but still fantastic,
It was
obviously.
all
I think
missing a
they
couple
played.
things.
Yeah, they were all missing a couple of things, but
Yeah,
no, they really have changed a lot of how they've played, and I think that a lot of that goes back to what I said earlier in Game One, how Collimer has got this team drafting differently, and all the changes they made, it's flipped a bit of a mindset in this team, and I'm excited to see how they do going up against Phoenix 5, who won a 51-minute marathon over BlackRock.
yeah, they're the reason why we had such a long break, if we're being honest with it.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, there, but the Phoenix Five. This is a roster that has a lot of very well-known names. I want to say in the amateur scene and in the CLAW scene as well. We were noticing this when Yanni and I were on one of our late night tangents looking through rosters and everything.
Yeah.
That Phoenix Five, it's like 3/5 of 2021 Harrisburg.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been around for a while. Like Sandflame, started his competitive journey in 2021. He's one of the guys on this roster that has the least amount of time in competitive. Actually, I think he's got the second least as the of the starting 5. Shorter Ace has been around. Bro, I'm pretty sure I played against Shorter Ace at one point in time back in the day in like one of these gopher lulls or something. I mean, the dude's been playing since 2014 competitively. Leica Moss has been around since 2015 competitively. And Detro has been around since 2020, right? He spent quite a few years himself. The real interesting one, and the one to definitely watch who's still carving out his story, is Baz B. Baz has been on contingent since 2023, got to cast a little bit of him in ACL. I was largely impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, and I think the major thing for Baz is you're going up against one of the stiffest oppositions in the entire OQs in the bot lane here. Shogo Rhino, I think in that first OQ, were first or second in terms of best bot lanes in the entire tournament there. And I think that's something to keep in mind when you're going into the second open qualifier, because it's not like there's a huge gap in between. It's not as if there's time to develop new strategies that you can, counter strat against Shogo Rhino or something like that. They're just very good players, and you need to keep your eyes out for that. And when you look at the rest of the team, especially considering what we saw in that first game against Kosa, your Uncle Sam had a fantastic time on Karma, and looking at this draft, gets Karma again, first picked right off the board, because you look at the rest of the bands there, they didn't want to deal with Shogo's Yasuo, they didn't want to deal with a Twisted Fate coming through as well. If we look at these mid laners that are really strong right now, Twisted Fate now has to be up there as someone who can just farm up, play incredibly safe. We saw that while we were watching our Maryville Fly Challengers game just recently, where Spyrex was able to dish out boatloads of damage.
Yeah, I really like what this team has put together, and are we sure that this is a Karma mid here? Because Rhino is one to play Ornn support.
I think considering it's Ornn picked up here, it has to be Senna Ornn bot lane. I think that's just sort of a set piece that they're going
Rumble
for.
Mid, right, or something like that. But I don't know if you recall. I don't know if you saw what Rhino did in OQ1, but man, he had such a crazy Ornn ultimate that not only killed 2 people but also killed the Baron. Like, this guy is crazy. Yeah, that guy is crazy on this champion in the support role, and to pair him up with Shogo playing Senna, which means they're gonna just be able to farm and scale and do what they want to do. But Adam, I believe it's time that we hop into game finally. Ole Miss taking on Phoenix 5 in the 1-0 bracket here, NACL Spring Open Qualifier 2. This is the last game for the evening that is going to be streamed, at the very least, for Ole Miss. They do play 2 games. Yeah, they do play 2 games on day 1 and 3 games on day 2. So obviously a 2-0 start puts you in a fantastic spot. And Ole Miss, it's almost a formality, right, that they go at least 3-2. But Phoenix 5 is a team that would really love to have a second game win under their belt.
Especially going into tomorrow when it is more cutthroat. You go with that extra game, it's 50% more fatigue, I guess, that you could add on to that compared to day 1. You've got to worry about a lot more on your plate in that sense as well, because you can go from 2 to 2-3. We saw that with Reluminate open qualifiers. Of note, they took down Ole Miss in this exact round as well. So round 2 was sort of the crux out of Ole Miss last time. This time around, they're going up once again against the 17 seed, granted this time as the 6th seed. Will they face the same fate? Yet to be determined. And of course, as results have filtered in throughout, Phoenix 5, I believe, had the longest game in round 1. So Ole Miss have had a little bit of time to stew. Would that potentially put them in the cooler a little bit? Maybe, maybe not. Their game wasn't the shortest, but it was under 30 minutes. So, they're looking to continue that momentum from game number 1 and try and make sure that they finish today perfect, and at the very least, put them in great position for tomorrow.
Yeah, they put Lycom also on another scaling pick. I mean, he had Hui last time out, did 53k damage. I'm sure he's more than happy to scale up on the Azir. One thing we didn't really mention is the Nautilus top lane getting pulled out.
Oh, wow,
from
yeah.
the side of Phoenix 5. Yeah, I just actually it didn't really register with me. Because, we've seen a couple of guys play it. Izo really won for playing those sort of champions in the top lane, but Sandflame as well enjoys his tanks. I'm interested to see what kind of impact it's going to have in the game. So you can already see Basby and Detro. They trade pretty okay into Ornn Senna, but Ornn's so tanky. Senna's got the sustain. I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, and something else that I really want to point out, look at what item Shogo has here. No World Atlas. This is the new strategy that's come out from LCK specifically, where you pick this Senna or you pick any sort of support and you just say, hey, screw the support item. It stacks up so quickly. Let me get more laning prowess here. And of all champions to take advantage of it, Senna still gets gold when you get your stacks, so it doesn't really matter. You're not punished for taking farm in the first couple of waves. You wait until you get your World Atlas, and you have more survivability at these early stages. Into Jhin Renata, is it necessary? Probably not. This lane doesn't really have a whole lot of kill threat into specifically the Senna here, who sort of outranges both of them. But it is a cool adaptation, and if Ole Miss are willing to pull this out down the line with more traditional supports, that is what I would be interested in, because I was watching Cadril co-stream of T1 Academy. Reckless was taking Dorn's Ring on Renata when he played at support.
Yeah, that is so crazy too, and I really like that.
Yeah, we went from double support items to no support items.
Exactly, and I really just love how creative League players at a really high level can get. You just see so many weird strategies that are it make you think, and then it's like, oh my god, wait, it's so smart. These guys are they're geniuses,
Yeah, it's almost like they spend their entire days playing this game sometimes.
Oh my god, really? No way. I can't believe they've played that much. Meanwhile, Uncle Sam certainly having a great time playing League of Legends in the mid lane here. He is dominating like a Moss early, which is not entirely surprising or anything like that, but it's good to see that Uncle Sam is just, he looks like a different player, man. He looks different.
Your Uncle Sam has become, as I said last game, your father Sam. He is starting to sort of exert his dominance in the mid lane. And honestly, you mentioned how he had a very emotional reaction to their loss against Winthrop. But, I prefer the Martini Lipatini who's doing TikTok dances versus the opposite side. So, the more Ole Miss wins, the more TikTok dances we get. Homie thinks he's Jungkook. Shades of Fnatic Boaster there by pulling those out. But a lot of action and no kills.
Yeah, exactly. Although that might change. Sandflame getting dove onto the turret for Stray. His Silence gets pushed in by Shorter Ace. He's forced to flash over the wall and will survive. Nice play there from Shorter Ace, but a good flash from Stray.
Yeah, great stuff from both sides on the top side of the map. Stray getting that wave push in, putting pressure on Sandflame. Nautilus doesn't really have a whole lot of kill threat right now, especially just with the Doran's Ring, but still has a surprising amount of base damage that you've got to keep in mind. That's why it's so strong in support. Rhino actually taken quite low as well. We'll have to chug a couple of potions there to keep healthy, but they're just sort of surviving for the time being. Shogo still stacking away. If we take a look at Shogo, advantages of being the producer. 17 stacks at 5 minutes, not bad. And if we look at the gold, has enough for that World Atlas, sort of hemorrhaging out a little bit of gold right now, but still just scaling up, focusing on getting those stacks as much as possible.
Yeah, and you can see Basby and Detro are really low on mana, so if they want to do something in the bottom lane, they might be able to. Well, up in the top lane, Stray is just chilling out and having a good time. And overall, after that attempt to top gang, things got really, really quiet at him. See Uncle Sam full HP teleporting back to lane. You see Lycomos has to back, doesn't have teleport available, so it's gonna be a big opportunity for Uncle Sam to get this wave shoved in, to maybe make a move or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a major component of Karma, especially since she gets her wave clear online a little bit quicker than the Azir. You're just able to drop down, alt Qs, and you're able to walk down, look for plays around the map. Something I want to take note is, did he take Ultimate Hunter? He didn't take Ultimate Hunter, so it means that you don't have your ultimate up as often, which is kind of ironic considering he goes for the Malignance build nonetheless, despite the nerfs. If you go Ultimate Hunter, you can get your ult up every 10 seconds in a fight on a base cooldown, and then you hit an ability, you basically land at W, and you get your ult back up each and every time. So that's sort of the really strong part about Karma. Didn't opt to go for that, opted for a little bit more lane prowess, and thus far it's working out. Granted, even in farm thus far, Lycomos isn't going to roll over and die as easily in this lane as we potentially saw in game number 1 from Retchsing.
If you saw Void Rubs being taken there by Isolated Hero on the top side, Shogo taking a little bit of damage from this turret, but say okay. So nice move there, no dragon to be had in a trade. So that's something interesting that we've seen in the first 2 rounds here, Adam. We have not seen objective for objective trades early. It's usually be one team's taking one objective and no, the other team is not responding.
I think especially for Ole Miss here, they're perfectly fine with that because once again, they've gone for the scaling option. Last game, they went for a scaling option as well in some ways, and they said, hey, we're just going to try and play towards our later stages. Our siege isn't great, but we can sort of do that. They got an early game win and it worked out. Stray not quite going to land the kill on the Sand Flame here.
Well, this guy doesn't take any damage. He's going to pull Stray in, but Shorter Ace is like, hey, man, we're not really going to be doing a whole lot here. Those tasers certainly putting some dents in Nautilus's armor, but not doing really anything more than that. And, that's a good adaptation by Stray to go teleport here, right? You don't really often see Rumbles with teleport anymore, but realizing that he doesn't have that much kill pressure in this lane, having a third teleport on the team is probably going to be huge for Ole Miss later on.
Yeah, I think that's super important, is that they've got triple teleport, and with Shogo has the cleanse to cleanse away basically Renata ultimate, maybe a Jin W as well. There's not that much CC coming through that you can cleanse away in that sense. A lot of it is that hard CC from Sand Flame, the root, the stun, all that, which, cleanse doesn't do anything for. But realistically, if Sand Flame is getting on top of Shogo, you've played the fight wrong already. So I really like this adaptation. Would I have preferred Ghost? Possibly, but look how many just crap
lit up like a Christmas tree.
There's like, 2 wards, there's so 2 traps. It's, good lord, but nonetheless.
Yeah, Shogo forced to cleanse. Bazb opening up the curtain call. Going to do a little bit of damage, get some slows, but Shorter Ace has realized that there's not really a play to be made here. Detro level 5 still, but if he's able to hit level 6 very soon, we could see some fireworks. Icelandic Hero down there. Everybody's down there except for the top laners, man. They're hanging out. We're waiting for something to happen. The pressure cooker building, and yet it gets diffused. You opened up the lid a little bit and let everything out.
Yeah. It's sort of like when you're making kanji. You want to put it in that pressure cooker and you just want to let it and then have, like, what is it called? Natural release? So that, you keep the pressure in. But then, something happens and you accidentally, like, flip the switch on it and all of a sudden you just comes out. Yeah, and then everything sort of fizzles out. Granted, the kanji still tastes great at the end of the day, but, you would have preferred to have it pressurize up a little bit more.
Of course. Not sure what these teams are cooking right now, as this has been one of a slow-paced games of all time. And, again, it's just a different Ole Miss, right? Like,
yeah,
I like what they're doing. Like, I really, really do. They're playing a nice, controlled game of League of Legends. And they're getting small advantages, right? Obviously, you've got your infinite scaling Zena, so despite the fact that you're down a couple CS in the bot lane, you'll take that loss and put it in your scaling. Obviously, Uncle Sam just down a couple of CS. Yeah, whatever. It's not that big of a deal, but they are giving time for Lycomos to scale up without any relative pressure. Icelandic Hero has just kind of been farming around. He's just a monkey hanging out in the jungle.
Yeah, and this is sort of what you're okay with in this sense. I mean, it's a 500 gold lead. It's nothing significant. It's just on Stray. That's the gold lead. Exactly. I mean, you've got a little bit of gold differences between, the quote-unquote 80 carries and the quote-unquote supports there, but it doesn't really matter. It all evens out at the end of the day. It's more so just that Stray is winning top lane right now, and Sandflame, despite that underwater armor and whatever, tasers, it really begs the question if Nautilus's armor is electric conducive.
Yeah, I mean, he's covered in water most of the time, right? So you'd figure that you will get at least a little bit of a mild shock, they might call it. But That is one of the great questions that, ever since getting rid of the lore, we'll never know, Adam.
We'll never know, yeah.
As Icelandic Hero is going to get pulled in. This is a great ultimate from Detro, turning a couple people berserk. Curtain Call is out, but Icelandic Hero is on top of Detro. He's still alive for right now, but he goes down for first blood. Now Rhino is stuck in a great Emperor's Divide there, but Stray coming in with a huge equalizer, living up to its name, equalizing this fight as Stray continues to push forward. He flashes forward, forces the flash out of Baz B, but Uncle Sam with a flash Q picks up a double kill. Uncle Sam looking for blood, but Shorter Ace able to retreat to the safety of his turret.
Yeah, excellent teleport coming through from Stray's Sandflame. Really not able to answer because the wave was pushed in. Stray's turn in lane. He decides to go with Stray, come down to the bot lane, and make them into an ashtray. Incredible stuff coming through from the Rumble to really keep that fight as close as possible. Granted, did try and flash, try to get the extra kill. Uncle Sam with 2 on the board, though, means that this Karma, once again, is a threat to be reckoned with.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just the Uncle Sam games, baby. He's not the parent that stepped in. He's the parent that stepped up. They could be in a little bit of trouble here as Detro on a nice roam. Uncle Sam taking a lot of damage, a good handshake, and a shutdown going over to Lycomals. Meanwhile, on the top side, Icelandic Hero very low. Stray trying to get him out of there. Shorter Ace going to come through. Is he going to be able to knock him to the wall? Wow. Shorter Ace taking a lot of damage, but a good flash from Shorter Ace. And Lycomals is now up here. Icelandic Hero able to slide out, but Stray will fall.
Yeah, this is really good play coming through from Phoenix 5, and this is what you expect from a team with this much experience. Granted, at what cost? You're giving over that bot lane. Turret, Shogo, and Rhino going to be the beneficiaries of that one. Unfortunately, there's no benefactor in that sense. Their revenge is on another stream, I think.
Yeah, we almost had the revenge versus the revenge. And I was so sad when you and I miscounted that. Ugh.
Oh, man. Wang's revenge versus Benefactor's revenge could be
the revenge of the revenge. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of Revenge.
Star Wars Episode 3.3 or something like that. One of those like YTP like mashed up titles.
Oh, no, not the YouTube poop.
Luke, I am Luke.
What? I saw a TikTok on that the other day that was so relatable. I now need to send that to you.
Oh, man.
13 minutes into the game here. 500 gold lead for Ole Miss. Not a whole lot. And Stray able to cancel the recall on Sandflame. Stray is down a level, and honestly, there's no way he's going to kill Sandflame.
Are you sure about that?
He's going to drop the equalizer on him. Another nice hook. Sandflame burning. Could not sidestep the taser. Look, Adam, I looked at the item that Sandflame had in his inventory, and I'm like, there's no way Stray kills him, right?
It's only 40 MR.
It is only 40 MR.
Yeah.
I thought it was more. I went
to
go build that the other day, and I thought it was 60.
Unfortunately,
I'm just dumb then.
Not going to give you as much MR as you need. But then again, Stray is also killing Sandflame with the flames himself. So, sometimes it can turn you into glass. And unfortunately, the resists look a little bit more like glass after that one.
Well, glass is in the bottom lane.
There's a reason she calls the shots. No.
Oh, no, don't get me started.
Oh, boy. Man. This is
Dragon did go over to Ole Miss during that entire scrap and everything like that. So listen, they were able to pick up 4 out of 6 grubs. They were able to pick up a dragon. I mean, that is exactly what you would want, right? If you told any team, hey, you get 4 grubs, you get first Drake, you're pretty happy with that. It is a little weird to see that these teams are really not prioritizing the Drake. We were talking earlier about objective trades, but like nobody's really going after these dragons at all. And I mean, I know the nerfs this season to the dragons were like kind of sizable, but I didn't think we'd see them that deprioritized.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you look at the dragon order, and it's an Infernal first, which means you're not getting Infernal Soul, which means you're not getting a boatload more damage. And now it's Mountain second. It's like, okay, so it's either... Well, there's 4 other souls that you could get, but realistically, if they want to play towards this top side, if you look at the bot lanes from both of these teams, it's Ornn Senna versus Jin Renata. Neither of them is really going to get crazy amounts of push one way or the other. So you're just sort of stuck in that lane. You can't really do much. These mid lanes go even. It's really only action on the top side where Stray has done great stuff. Like Amaz, oh my.
Yeah, speaking of the top side, it's good Emperor's Divide, though, once again, to push them away. He has been really on top of those. I'm really interested to see how many shuffles we're going to get out of him when it comes to the team fight phase. But good job being able to protect his shutdown that he has.
Yeah, and I think another thing to point out, which, of course, us not being able to get draft footage and be able to talk about it as long as we'd like Amaz went for Fleet Footwork on Azir. This is a little bit of the standard, I dare say, versus what we've seen recently, which is the grasp, the tank is here. You go, what, like Abyssal Mask, Frozen Heart?
It's weird.
It's weird. I don't like it, personally.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't, because like I don't really want to be dealing with a tank Azir in my games, because I already hate
Tank
playing
Echo.
against Azir enough. Short Race is going to get rooted up here, but no fight to be had. And one thing that we didn't really mention while you were talking about Azir is that Stray gets another really nice trade on the Sandflame, and Stray is starting to run him, right? And
Yes.
this was one of the big members that we were calling out, like, okay, like, you know, they got Stray, really good player, has professional acumen. And we're going to see Rhino drop an ultimate here. He's going to knock up Baz B, and only one member gets caught in Renata ultimate, but Baz B still alive for right now. Senna ultimate, but he is still alive. Here comes the equalizer from Stray. Rhino about to go down, but he stays upright, and no kills to be had in this engagement?
Yeah, the equalizer was more zoning than anything. I don't hate that option from Stray, but it means you're missing out on the damage. You could have dropped it down on the Jhin and potentially found yourself a kill. Might have been just out of range, but goes a little bit wide at that.
Oh, like almost? Uncle Sam, that was blind.
Lucky. You know, his skill is like, what, 10% luck or whatever it is? What is, I don't know.
Whatever Fort Minor said.
Yeah, whatever that dude said at some point, something percentages, pure determination will. I think
I almost like failed math, so you know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those like pure determination things from Uncle Sam, where he's like, you know what, I'm not gonna be made fun of anymore. You know, I want to be able to do my TikTok dances.
Yeah, exactly. You know, hey, listen, good performances will get him more popular on TikTok. Factually proven. That's not factually proven. I make no assurances, and I speak for myself and not running the Rift.
You can speak for running the Rift. I think that good performances also get you more followers. If you're good at TikTok dances, you will get more followers because people will think you're good.
Oh, that is true. That is true.
Like,
he will know him as he will TikTok dance on people at Worlds in the future. Seeing Shorter Race potentially getting caught out here. A nice flash, but does get rooted up. Poppy ready to drop the hammer and does so onto Icelandic Hero, but that allowed enough time for the rest of the team to get here. Rhino trying to get close. The Azir turret is down. Rhino taken to about half HP, and Shorter Race will barely survive. The Dragon up in about 25 seconds. Lycamal's doing what he can to keep his jungler upright.
Yeah, I mean, Shorter Race sending Icelandic Hero on the helicopter ride there. The Cyclone's still going, but yeah, Sandflame's now tanky. This is the Nautilus that you expect out of the top lane, to have all these defensive stats and be able to stay upright. It's not a whole lot of armor yet, but Icelandic Hero can't cut through it quite yet. Look at this positioning, though.
That's really a big deal, because you see Koenig Rukern on Shorter Race as well. Well, the Forge God gonna go down, gonna knock up two.
Oh wow!
And they want you more. That's a good equalizer, but it only splits them up. Detro takes a lot of damage, but is still alive. Icelandic Hero down to about half HP. And a re-engage from Sandflame means they want to look for more. Shorter Race just trying to just body block, right? Just be like, hey, you know, listen, I'm a big tanky guy, and you should stop hitting my team. As Ole Miss drives off Phoenix 5.
Yeah, the play I really liked out of all of that was where Uncle Sam put that mantra Q there, put it right next to the equalizer, so there was no space to move. Uncle Sam, though, in trouble.
This could be a problem. There's good ultimates coming out for at least the shielding, but again, Phoenix 5 is just still alive. Ole Miss does not have enough damage right now.
Granted, the game is not always about kills. You push them off this tower, you now have mid-pry, you're able to continue the siege, and to get that dragon for free. So I really like this play coming through from Ole Miss. They win the fight. We can't deny that, because they got more at the end of the day off of it. Kills, they don't really matter in this case. It's a 4K gold lead that matters.
Yeah, but this is Ole Miss. Of course kills matter, right? No, this is...
does it?
This ain't your mother's Ole Miss.
This isn't Ole Miss, this is New Miss.
Yeah, this is New Miss. I mean, listen, they don't miss. Hit or miss, I guess they never miss, because right now they're 1-0. They have built a gold lead on the back of 4 kills in 20 minutes. I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone, Adam.
Yeah, this is mystical of all things, to see that Ole Miss are playing this slowly and calculated. And I'm going to say something bold. I don't hate it. I kind of like it.
No, I love it.
I
love it. Yeah, let's see how long they can keep it up, though. No, Icelandic Hero on top of Bazby. Bazby said, get me out of there. Icelandic Hero decided to come with him. Icelandic Hero is on the wrong side of the tracks. Re-engage onto Bazby. Gets him pretty low. Rhino in the area. The engagement onto Shogo. from Shorter Ace, but Shorter Ace doesn't have a whole lot of damage. Drops the hammer to knock Rhino out of there. Icelandic Hero trying to get away, but Lycomall sliding over the wall. Re-engage on the Baz B, but Baz B stands alive. Oh, never mind! The equalizer from downtown takes him out. Call the Forge God ready to come out. Rhino gonna knock up 2, and getting burnt alive is Sandflame. Shorter Ace is the next target. He's getting very low. And Hostile Takeover comes out to just drive Rhino off for a split second, but Rhino, he does a little bit of damage because he is very farmed up, forcing the flash out of Lycomall's.
The incredible part about that fight is Ole Miss did not initiate that fight. Yes, it was Icelandic Hero getting a little bit greedy going for Baz B, but took Baz B down to 20% HP, 15% HP. It's the re-engage that really turns the tables for Ole Miss. Shorter Ace thinks they have an angle, and Rhino lines him up, knocks him down. I won't say it's a strike because they didn't get the ace off of that, but it's like a 9 spare there for Rhino. So really good stuff coming through from this Orin to make sure they continue to rack up those points for themselves in the bowling frames and on the Rift as well. The gold lead now grown to, it hasn't grown, it's 4,000 still. Caster math still applies when you don't cast very much.
Yeah, they may not be playing a perfect game here, but you'll certainly be happy with the way Ole Miss has performed. And 21 minutes, cresting the 22-minute mark. I mean, we haven't checked on Shogo stacks in quite some time. So I don't know if we can get an observer check. Check on those, please. 102 stacks. The dude is going to just be hitting from a mile away, right? And he's starting to get a little bit of damage. He's got his Yomus ready to go. So I think that extra little oomph in these fights should be really important. Yeah, Rift Herald getting dropped down in the mid lane here. So we'll see if Icelandic Hero is going to try to pilot this. They are down a wave, which is kind of stinky. Icelandic Hero, let's see if he's got his Icelandic driver's license, and he does. Twitch chat going to get in there. But Shogo is now caught out because, that hammer knocked everybody away. Forced the flash out of there. Shorter Ace was chasing him down. So he stays alive, but I'm sure he's a little upset at that.
Yeah. If anyone has the driver's license there, it's Shogo, who's able to dodge away from everything.
Lycomall's preemptively using the Emperor's Divide, but he's caught. He is so low, but he's still alive. That equalizer did quite a bit, though, as you mentioned, taking out Sandflame, but still unable to get more.
Yeah, and Baz, with that ult, wasn't able to land those shots. Might need a little bit of lessons from how to draw lines from Stray there, because that one was picture perfect, I dare say. Almost as good as you could ask for in an equalizer. Split the fight perfectly, made sure Lycomall's was separated from the team. In the end, Sandflame goes down. Once again, Ole Miss, slowly but surely, 1 kill each fight, here and there, picking up the pieces one by one, but it's death by 1,000 paper cuts once again for Ole Miss, as they continue to not live up to their name, and they've been on target.
Yeah, they are dinking and dunking, and they are getting it done. Again, I feel like I'm watching a different team. I really just can't, I don't want to harp on that so much, but that is really, it's a complete reversal, right? It's like that episode of SpongeBob where he becomes normal. It's weird, but I like it. This is great.
Yeah, it's a different pace, I want to say, and
a different flavor.
If we sort of roll it back to, oh man, we're going into the pocket, we're going into the bag with this one. Colomer coaching on Bethany. It almost reminds me of that 2021. It sort of reminds me a little bit of how Bethany played under Colomer, where they, won here and there. They still had sort of these oddball picks that they made work for themselves.
Is going to be in trouble. Yeah, Uncle Sam is going to be able to root him up. Not to cut you off, my co-caster, but Uncle Sam is running away. That means the rest of the squad is showing up. Emperor's Divide is going to come out, but it's not going to save you this time, like Amaz. Icelandic Hero able to pick up the kill. Dragon available, but because a couple of members were on the top side of the map, Phoenix 5 unable to respond to get the Drake. Yeah, Rhino find himself in a little bit of trouble, but man, he is just so damn tanky. The teleport coming up, but now Stray is the one who's called out. Baz B's got plenty of damage. The shielding is there. The flash is there. Baz B lands the first shot, I should say. Gets the shutdown. Hostile takeover getting over Icelandic Hero. Beating up Shogo. Uncle Sam takes out Shorter Ace. Sandflame is just caught between many members of Ole Miss, and Ole Miss convincingly wins a fight.
It's these re-engages that really tell the tale for Ole Miss. They aren't the ones starting these fights. They're the ones getting engaged on, and they're just able to answer in kind. Your Uncle Sam, blue suede shoes there.
He's got a lot of damage, too. I'd imagine he might want to re-engage here. Bazby down to about half HP. He's got shields, he's got tethers, and he's buying time for the rest of his team to try and take this Baron. Lycomos now back up, but does not have that Emperor's Divide. Still looking to get in here and cause some problems. Uncle Sam rooted up. He's going to be the target. Lycomos going in, forcing the flash. Baron's still getting low, but they're going to pull off. Detro handshakes Icelandic Hero away. Teleport coming in from Stray as they're looking to maybe put this game out of reach. Detro is caught. Detro is alive, but he is going to die. He can't get bailed out. Teleport coming in from Sandflame. Icelandic Hero trying to just get on top of Bazby. And Bazby forced a flash away. That equalizer got dropped on top of him. Sandflame gonna burn away as well, as now it's starting to get out of control. Phoenix 5 is just in complete disarray.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Phoenix 5, unlike their name may suggest, it's very difficult to rise from the ashes here, because this Nautilus is not impactful this game. Despite the fact that they've still got all the tanky stats that you could ask for, just isn't able to get on top of Shogo and on your Uncle Sam often enough to make it work. All of these engages are going onto Stray, who has enough health in the back pocket to make sure they can stay alive. They're going onto your Uncle Sam, who has the Tether W to make sure that you can keep alive and get a huge heal off the back end of that. And Rhino's been doing a great job of frontlining this entire time as well. It is so challenging to find a way to eke out advantages here. If you're the side of Phoenix 5, each and every fight that they take, it feels as if they just keep going down more and more. It's the MLXG meme there. They think they're so far behind, they have to force a fight. They think they're even, they gotta force a fight. They think they're ahead, they gotta force a fight. No matter what, it feels as if they're forcing over and over again. And Ole Miss are just taking it on a silver platter, saying, hey, we eat these for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, potentially a midnight snack as well at this point.
Yeah, and the problem is they know they're now at a great disadvantage, right? Not even just 12 kills to 6, but you can tell this game is starting to slip away. Lycomos, though, again, we know his ear for scaling, right? And still has that very good scaling on 2.5 items. If you can get to that third item, maybe can turn it around. You know, Bazby on this Jhin scales pretty well also. The only problem is just the infinite scaling of Shogo is really the biggest worry, and how big Stray is right now.
130 stacks at 27 minutes as well is baffling for Shogo here. He's just been able to free farm for, oh my god.
Oh, what an equalizer. Shogo with a good ultimate as well, but Bazby is out of the fray, looking to deal some damage with that curtain call, but everybody on his team is so low, and he's not doing a whole lot. Sandflame is going to die. Poppy's going to go down. Bazby able to get out because of the turret from Lycomos. Shogo flashes forward, and that is the Ole Miss that we know. Shogo going very deep there, able to pick up Bazby. And once again, Ole Miss will turn to the Baron.
Don't worry, despite the new Miss allegations, there's still some Ole Miss left in these dogs there. Shogo flashing forward into 3, just says, hey, give me that one, cowboy. And now they're going to go towards this Baron. That fight, if they didn't get any kills, still would have led to this Baron. They simply confirm it for themselves. They guarantee it as a 95-5 play. And now the gold lead has opened up to 10,000 gold, an exercise in chastity, I want to say, for them holding back so long, and yet you can't hold back these dogs for too long. They're going to keep pushing forward. Detro,
heal? Detro's dead. Yeah, because there's no way they're killing Rhino within the time it takes for Bailout to burn out. But Shorter Ace and Sandflame are still up here. They maybe want to try to do something. You're going to knock Icelandic Hero into the wall, but they just have a large lack of damage right now. And you see how, like, Icelandic Hero has a lot of health. He's pretty tanky on top of it, too. Bazby just doesn't have any opportunities to deal damage, really. And Lycomos, with all this scaling, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, a big issue that Jhin has had in the past is sort of the ability to cut through tanks, but also bruisers in that sense. You want to just be able to pick Jhin into, like, 3 squishies or something, but there's an Ornn. There's a Wukong. This Rumble isn't necessarily the squishiest member in the world, so it's really difficult for Baz to be able to get in range for them. And now this siege is a lot more cohesive from the side of Ole Miss. Now that you've got the Senna who can just wail away at towers from 740 range away, you're going to be feeling pretty good about yourself. Rhino can just stand in front and has the upgraded locket as well.
Lycomos. Here comes Call the Forge God. It is going to land on one member. But Lycomos is getting ulted by Shogo, and he goes down. That is a critical member down. Here comes the hostile takeover, but it's only on to Rhino. There's the ultimate coming out from Stray. A lot of damage coming through. Shogo is just left completely untouched. He takes out the turret, and now he's going to move on to the frontliner. Sandflame is super low. He goes down. Baz B is low. Icelandic hero, you mentioned it. Can't take out the Bruiser. Baz B goes down. And I believe this is going to be Ole Miss's victory. A large minion wave coming in, and only Detro to defend. I spoke too soon. Detro goes down, and Ole Miss another clean victory, 2-0 to start spring OQ2.
Unfortunately for Phoenix 5, they thought they had Freddy Bazbear on their side, but instead they got hit with the bite of 87. Ole Miss, the Sharks, or whatever they are, whatever their mascot is, take a big old bite out of Phoenix 5.
Take a bite out of crime.
They take a big bite. That's 2-0.
That was 2-0. Really fantastic start. Again, they just got to win one more, and you're in, right? But this is a team that has higher expectations for that. This is a team that needs these next 3 games to refine what they've been doing, right? Because I love what they've been doing. Like, this is just so great to see. It's a breath of fresh air. And now they got to win one more. They go out, they win their first game tomorrow, and then games 4 and 5, they play against strong opponents, and they refine this style for GSL onward.
Yeah, and of note, updates on the standings. This will end up being on a YouTube video as well of note, but I will give the standings for those who are watching right now. 2-0 teams. Winthrop University will go up against Castleberry tomorrow. Castleberry, actually, 19 seed, going 2-0 to open it up. CCG versus Gentle Hearts, Team Fish Taco versus Fly Family, Ole Miss versus Pulse Star, a run back as well for them. So sort of fighting their past a lot here for those, for Ole Miss at the very least. 1-1 teams, Blue Water will face Team YOLO, Lotus will face Misfits, ISU will face CU Black. UCI will play Nigel's Last Tiles. Option 33 versus PNW. Wang's Revenge versus Clown Gaming. Reluminate versus Phoenix 5. And then BlackRock versus Benefactors Revenge. We missed out on the Revenge versus Revenge match. And then at 0-2, Abandoned Kittens as the 12 seed. All the way down, they're going to be facing against Sanchovi's Nick Itch and Pick Me Galio. The Nameless versus Zora. It's Doomed versus Gravity. And Carolina Reapers versus Kosa Gamers. So that rounds out day 1 for now. I don't know if we're doing more games. We might record them.
Yeah, we might record them. We might stream them, to be quite honest with you. But
we'll probably record them
honestly, we honestly do not know, because we all know how interesting this OQ has been with the fact that Spectator is not working right now. So we want to thank you all for being here, joining us this evening to watch some of Ole Miss's gameplay. Stay tuned to the Running the Rift YouTube channel, because everything is going to be posted on there. If you need your NACL Open qualifiers fix, we have it for you. So keep an eye there. Keep an eye on Twitter for when we are going live and who we are streaming and everything in between. And we will see you all tomorrow night for 3 more games of North American Challenger League Open qualifiers.